Welcome back for another installment of Fellowship of the Rink. No Joe this week, taking a much-needed vacation after a long season. We'll be back next week, though, but in the interim, we've got producer, Isha here, riding shotgun. Got a couple things we're going to get into here today. First, later in the show, we will have a bit of wild talk from judd'z. Spoke Z talking about Kirill Kaprizov contract and a pretty big hypothetical trade that we break through with, we'll just say, a lot of prospects going the other way. Isha is here because we're going to break down the entire Minnesota Wild schedule as was released this past week. I know that it's actually really sad, Isha. I think that's like one of the bigger days for me, just because I usually love going through and like picking like, okay, what are the best days to like actually get Wild game tickets, where potential travel destinations. And I realized, like, kid number 2 on the way, I can't do anything fun. Like, it actually like went from really exciting to just sad. So I actually might not attend a game live this year.
Unless
see.
It's World Juniors, maybe.
Sorry, I might not attend a Minnesota Wild game
there
live
this year. There you go.
Because, yes, there will be World Junior Summer Showcase coming up next week. There is the World Junior itself. There is plenty of Gopher hockey. But, yes, Minnesota Wild might not be in the cards. And we'll get into a little bit more of that with why that is particularly sad for me for some of these. But what about you? Like, where's your just general leaning coming in? Like, was there anything that you just looked at and said, holy crap, what? Or more just work through and dissect?
Well, it was like when I took my deep dive into it and just seeing February, it all kind of hit me that I was like, oh yeah, this season's different because the NHL players are back at the Olympics. And like the final stretch, like whether the Wild are like fringe or we're like banged up again and have to like make up points, like if they're healthy enough at the end of the season, like that is a opportunity to either cruise past some teams and solidify themselves at the top of the division or get themselves back in the playoffs. So just like the shock of like going like balls to the wall, then everything, 4 games in February, and then getting right back at it, and then having honestly the quote unquote easiest part of the season at the end is just, it's very interesting. And it's going to keep, I think, this market dialed until the end, because there's a lot of hockey this year. Like in addition to like your college hockey, in addition to high school, there is World Juniors, which I know we've maybe started to gain some people's interest, some of our listeners' interest in that south of the border. But for Canadians, that's like a whole other, like just a whole event in itself. And then with the Olympics, like there might be some hockey fatigue just towards the end of the season from just NHL fans as a whole. But I think Wild fans might be the exception because of the schedule and just depending on how the season goes. Now, if they're rolling, that's one thing. And if just like free points, then, whatever. But yeah, if they're kind of still like hanging on there, or they're like just 1 or 2 teams above them, or it's close, like, yeah, that last month's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I know it's definitely not how most fans think, but man, I'd be very okay with not many Wild players going to the Olympics, because as we saw last year, those injuries can derail a team's season pretty quick. So like the fact that it is a huge bummer that Russia will not be represented, not for political reasons, of course. That totally checks out. More just like, God, they would be a good team. But guess what? Kaprizov's not going to go, and he can't get hurt. So, and
the Wild don't have
injuries, he can rest.
Yeah, and like the Capitals are laughing because they have, I think, the only other Belarusian in the league. So Ovi may be pouting, but I'm sure the organization's like, oh, we are so happy that Russia's not involved, or Belarus.
Yeah, so we'll see how all that plays out. But yeah, what you said is fair. Let's get into the schedule then. I think the big thing here is it's a weird season where we've got a lot of extended road trips. We'll start here in October, where there is a pretty big stretch there early on, 5 games on the road. I will say it's maybe not the worst, given that that's where we've got to power through not having Brodeen to start.
Right.
I also think that, like, by and large, these are winnable games.
Yeah.
And it's way too early to say that, right? All of this is going to come with a grain of salt because every year there's a team that everyone thinks is going to be good. Injuries decimate them. Something goes off the rails. And there's a team that everyone thinks is going to suck, and they end up vaulting up and making the playoffs. So this is more just a general scoping of, like, Dallas, Washington. Those are the only ones that really stand out on that stretch that are scary. There's good teams in there for sure. And I love that they literally open up again with Columbus, LA back to back for their first 2 games. Both very fun for different reasons. Dean Evison, of course, making his triumphant return. And with LA, we're always going to have the Fiala trade and the hatred for Drew Doughty that spirals that one.
Well, but it's Kopitar's farewell tour this year too. So
is that confirmed?
I mean, more confirmed than Ovi's career at this point.
Well, because Malkin's is firmly confirmed, and this is my biggest gripe, and I'll be selfish, whatever. We got 2 big home stretches for the Wild, and that is running from October 25th through November 4th and November 9th through November 19th. Kids due October 26th. I am missing out on all of those big stretches, and of course, in the thick of that, we've got Utah, which anyone that hasn't paid attention to Judd'z Buds, Z and I are basically trying to start another mammoth podcast because apparently people complain that there aren't good ones out there. I am not speaking negatively on the ones that might exist because I haven't listened to any of them, but we're both really into them between the prospect pool, certain players, and just the trajectory of the team. Why not? Let's jump on. So can't go to that one. And Malkin's retirement tour, my last chance to see Malkin play live, I will miss because Pittsburgh is here on the 30th. But that again wraps into November, where really the end of October and the early November and another stretch within November, the 2 longest streaks at home, 6-game and 5-game homestands. Really, Isha?
November's where they're getting the points.
If you care.
November's where they're getting the points.
Well, but all of this tells me Thanksgiving is all that more important compared to previous years. Like, the Wild need to be nestled into a good spot because it only gets tougher from there, right?
My brain still goes to September when you say Thanksgiving.
American Thanksgiving, U.S. Thanksgiving. But yeah, the strength of schedule, again, before seeing how some of these teams come out of the gate, it is a pretty low strength of schedule for the first 2 months. So the Wild have to capitalize and take advantage. And you look at the spread too of Central Division matchups. It's pretty balanced until we get to the back end. Of course, March through April is a dangerous stretch. We'll get into it later, but it is 8 Central Division matchups in 1 month, like calendar month. It is February 26th through March 25th, which is just crazy. Yeah. So really, again, getting a good start, going to be critical. Not to mention just knowing the Wild, there will probably be injuries later, so we'll have to power through that.
There's already injuries. The season hasn't even started yet.
Yeah. Anything else, though, that stands out to you in November? Again, I don't really have anything much besides we've got 2 massive home stretches, and I think that the level of competition the first 2 months is considerably lower.
Yeah, no, just Carolina twice is probably like the only threat. I mean, obviously Vegas, but like playing Carolina twice is not
Vegas,
easy.
Winnipeg, and Dallas are really the only ones that like stand out. And I guess Colorado, but that's after Thanksgiving, so I don't count it.
Yeah, even I mean in Winnipeg, there's a lot of question marks coming into this season still. Like I mean, obviously there were last year and they did well, but
yeah. But I mean, you got Pittsburgh twice, you got San Jose twice.
Saying, like November,
Nashville, like
I think they'll feast on points in November more than even in October.
You gotta.
Yeah.
So then going into December, this is where it gets a little bit tougher. And again, like, this is all with a grain of salt, but it on the surface, this is one of the tougher months just with the actual teams. I think the schedule lays out pretty well for them. Like, it's pretty spread out.
Coming back
There's
home to
2
play
back-to-backs.
Dallas, though. Coming back home to play Dallas sucks. Like, that's right. Yeah, that's like first 2 weeks. That'll be tough. At least like, yeah, Seattle, Calgary, Vancouver, winnable games for sure. And they kind of get a little bit easier after that. But this month is just like, it just like comes in waves. It's like, yeah, you're on the road, but you're playing, pretty easy teams, and you come back home and boom, we're gonna play Dallas, and then like, eases up a little bit. Then Washington comes back, quick road trip, Edmonton back at home. So, and then Colorado. So yeah, this is a weird one. This is like,
and the double ups definitely matter, right? And I'm sure fans will complain all year about the fact that the Wild have the most back-to-back games.
And Edmonton, Colorado back-to-back. Like, goddamn.
Winnipeg has 9, and then it spans all the way up through Nashville, who is right behind us with 13. But literally everyone is below us. Not fun. I will say, though, 6 of them are home and home, so that at least helps. Like, we're taking away the travel element. And there's only 3 instances where we play a Central Division opponent on the backside of a back-to-back, right? So that's at least positive. But still sucks having more back-to-backs than most teams. I do think, too, like, the early road trip kind of helps. Like, I feel like a lot of teams enjoy having the road trip early to kind of just get the vibes going, get the boys right in the room. The one that we've got here now that's going to be tougher is the end of December. So we're starting December 27th with Winnipeg and going all the way through early January. On the road again for, Isha mentioned earlier, World Juniors, which I'm going to label this as my first spot too, where those of you looking to have destination Wild games, if you're not into World Juniors and don't plan on paying any attention to that while it's in town, get out of Dodge. There's literally 6 games it's 5 games. Sorry, 5 games in a row that are in either Vegas or one of the California cities. End of December, beginning of January, like, no better time to go somewhere warm. February might be, but guess what? That's going to be the Olympics. Anything else that stands out for you for January in particular?
No, I mean, assuming that like they're good coming back from their road trip. I think that this month actually is another month where they could feast off some points against a lot of younger teams.
Yeah, I'm torn on that part. What I will say, for anyone who's prioritizing which home Wild games they want to attend, the 24th, it's a Saturday, hosting Florida, which 1, like, that'll just be a gong show because it's Florida. But 2, there is a chance, Brett Marshall, earmuffs, I believe someone might be receiving their Stanley Cup ring. For anyone that doesn't know, Brett has a bit of a man crush on a player who returned to the Wild this year. I'm sure Isha hasn't heard anything about that on Wildly Informed.
No. Especially because it was my boy Freddie Gaudreau that got shipped out for him.
Oh, sad. Yeah. Very sad. Any other ones that have stood out to you leading to this point too? Because I kind of skipped over that in the previous months. Like, for me, the home opener against Columbus, 1, it's a home opener and it's a Saturday. And Dean Evison, that one's a must attend. And then the other one that I would probably want to attend is December 20th, Edmonton, another Saturday, 2 p.m. game. I don't know. I love those matinee games. I think those are fun.
Yeah.
I don't know what your stance is on those.
I like them too. Especially because you can like go out for dinner or something after, and like, or if you just like want to wrap your night up earlier, you have that option as well.
There we go. So going into February, a whopping 4 games. And of course, among them, there has to be a back-to-back, because why not? As we mentioned before, the Winter Olympics. NHL players are finally back. I'm so excited for that. It's gonna be so fun.
Canada,
I know
USA.
I want wild players to go, but I'm so excited for the Olympics.
Canada, USA 1-1 so far. This will be the tiebreaker. This will be the real.
Canada did win the exhibition game, so we'll have to see how that carries over into the Olympics.
Yeah, I'm so stoked. It's like Sochi seems like a lifetime ago. It's so crazy.
But it's one of those ones, and this is cliche because people say it about a bunch of things. It feels like it was both like 20 years ago, and it feels like it was a year ago. Like I remember it so vividly.
Oh yeah,
I was in such a different place in my life, but like, dude, that was so much fun. And like, it sucked, obviously, and I mean, not for you, but for me. But like, that's the best USA hockey I've seen in my lifetime.
Yeah,
because Disney movies don't count.
It was. I mean, I had win-win as like a Canucks fan. I got to see the Sedin twins in the gold medal game for Sweden, and then obviously Canada won. And it wasn't at like I think it started at like 5 or 6 a.m. like we're like Pacific time. So like it wasn't bad. And I just remember.
Sorry, you're talking Sochi. Yeah, I'm even going back further than Sochi. Apologies. I'm
you're on like 2011.
I'm on the golden goal.
Yeah, which even better feeling in Sochi because Canada ran over the Swedes in Sochi. But that American team was. I mean, what scares me is like that's what Team USA now reminds me of because they're deep everywhere like that American team was, and Canada doesn't have a Luongo or a Carey Price or I don't even know who our third string was, who was probably a top goalie. We got nothing. We got nothing. So
goaltending is very scary for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna love this. My mom just, being unaware and just like, oh, hockey, yay. She found on like a discount rack and was so proud of herself and so happy. She got me a jersey, Sidney Crosby, Team Canada.
Nice.
I'm like, why would you give me this? She's like,
nice.
You like Crosby, don't you? I'm like,
yeah,
not when he plays for them.
That is awesome.
Do you know what he did to our country?
That's so funny because like that's the only Crosby jersey I would ever buy. Yeah. Fuck Rimouski and fuck the Penguins.
So, anyways, that one stung. My mom ripped me and she didn't even know it.
That's awesome. But no, this month it's like they should win at least 2 of the games, but they could lose. They could lose 3. Like they could lose to Montreal, Colorado, and Utah.
Low key though, I think this is another good travel target. Like Olympics are done. You want to see the team back in action right away. You've got a back-to-back Colorado and Utah. If you're into skiing or that like type of weather, end of February, again, fresh off the Olympics, see the boys right when they get back into action. I think going and hitting Colorado and Utah, that could be a fun trip if that's your kind of trip. Like if me in February, I'm like, where's warm? But there's definitely sickos out there that would be all about it. And Colorado and Utah winter are very different than Minnesota winter too.
I hear Denver is fun any time of the year. So.
Right. That's very fair. So then we move on to March. And
what a month.
we've got
huge month.
The World Junior month in January. We've got Olympics in February, and then we've got the tourney in March, which everyone, if it wasn't already clear, you can usually do a pretty good job guessing in general when the state tourney will be. Like it's pretty much always the first week of March, but here you can see by the schedule when we are home and away, the tourney will absolutely be March 4th through March 7th. And the day that I will have circled, assuming that I'm allowed to go, is Friday the 6th, all day. The best day. I will fight anyone on this to go and watch the state tourney. You get all good games by and large, semifinals for single A and double A, and of course a little buffer in between to go grab some beers or do whatever you need to. But March is a pretty heavy divisional month. 6 games in the division. Like I said, from February 26th through March 25th, 8 Central Division matchups, which is like basically 2 a week. So
and there's some good teams too, like Tampa twice, Florida, Toronto, Dallas again, like Vegas. This is I think
this is the death month.
Yeah, this is the hardest month.
That's why we need to get out to a good start. Again, October, November, gotta go away running with it. March is the one where we need to have some cushion built. So if things go the wrong way, we're still in an okay position.
Yeah, because if you have cushion built and you go 500 this month, so so to speak, it's like, okay, April's coming, and you will even an AHL team could get points in April.
Well, let's go to April then. And this one is not just a matter of, let's see, now we've done World Juniors, Olympics, the tourney. Now we got Frozen Four.
Yeah, there's a lot of hockey this 2020.
All the better.
5 and 6.
But yeah, like Isha said, it's definitely a softer portion of the schedule, and you would hope that puts us in a position that if there's points to be made up, we can, or hey, if we're jostling for a position with someone, you're in an okay spot to do so.
Let's hope they're just battling Vancouver for that last spot, because that'll be a good game to go to.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Vancouver.
I don't know, but for me,
Vancouver
is definitely not the toughest. But again, by then, who knows what's happening?
Yeah, no, I know. So, like, Detroit could be good. Seattle could be competitive.
Could they be good?
I don't know.
That's my problem here. Is I can see 4.5 of these teams being good, but that's like everything going right for all of them. I have nitpicking on most of them. Like Dallas should be good.
Yeah.
St. Louis is going to play us well no matter what. And I think they could be on the rise. Anaheim, I'm still not sold on, but who knows by that point if they're making more moves.
And I always kind of just brush over Ottawa. Ottawa's a hard team to play against.
Ottawa is one of the teams. Just to be clear, I did not include Vancouver in that 4.5. So, and then Washington, I'm still not sold that they're going to be what they were last year. I still think they're good. I think they're a playoff team, but I don't think they're what they did last year. So, I don't know. This should be ripe for the taking, but hey, we've seen the Wild do dumber things, right?
That is true. Last game against Anaheim too. Was that their last game this year?
I feel like it was their last home game. I don't know if it was their last game.
It was the last.
I remember
it was the last season game I streamed too,
because I assumed Flurry would play, which he didn't until he did.
Yeah, dude.
That ended up being awesome, and of course, my buddy left. Q, you're an idiot.
That was awesome.
But going back to March, 2 more dates worth pointing out, depending on what you're about. If you don't give 2 shits about the state tournament, 1, why?
Yeah.
2, Wild play in Vegas that Friday. It's beginning of March. I gotta imagine, like, first off, great time to be getting to warmer weather again, and March Madness. I imagine, I've never done it, but I've been told by so many that being in Vegas leading into March Madness is very, very fun. So depending on how that schedule lines up, if it starts that week, incredible, although it'll probably be expensive. And then if it's the following week, you can still maybe be there into the weekend and get your bets in and still have fun leading in. And then end of the month, if you, again, end of March are still trying to get away and find warmer weather, want to do the spring break type trip, the Tampa, 24th Florida, and the 26th, Tampa and Florida. Good teams.
And now there's actually vibes, in Florida to go watch the Panthers. So
yeah. And then right after that too, if you just want to be a degenerate and go find the creature that is Spoke Z, they play in Boston that Saturday. So, but all in all, I really, the back-to-backs are a bummer, right? But outside of that, I'm not complaining too much. Like it lays out well that, let's put it this way, if they are not doing well come Thanksgiving, American Thanksgiving, sell. Like it's not getting any better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It feels like the Wild always gets screwed with the back-to-backs. I don't know why that is. I got nothing.
No.
But
like always Vancouver Canucks fans complained about travel, but it's like you are the team on the northwest, like you're the furthest away, so it just comes with the territory. Like I don't know why you guys are complaining. Like you know, maybe the owner or the should be more cognizant of that, or GMs or whatever, and maybe have better planning on travel.
I don't know that it's got nothing to do with that, dude. It's got to do with everything else that's going on at the arenas.
Yeah, not true. You know what? Mike Gillis used to install like these oxygen chambers on the team plane so the guys could recover quicker because of their travel was so bad. I remember he did all this. He was so innovative at the time, and I miss him dearly. Just like Joe LeBate and I went down memory lane talking about our love for Mike Gillis.
Dude, it's like some of those European flights where you can like lay down in a bed instead of a chair. But instead of that, it's like a cryo chamber you lay into.
Yeah, I'm actually excited to like go to Japan someday soon, just to like experience the food on the plane and like the beds, so I don't have to sleep.
I want to go to Japan because I'm excited about the flight.
Well, no, I'm just like, it's not as daunting as like my friend just got back from Australia and he was like, dude, the flight sucked. It was just like in a normal seat, whatever. But then his friend got back from Japan and sent him like, he's like, this is not even like first or business class. This is normal. And it's like 3-course meal, like freaking, yeah, sashimi, tuna, the whole 9 yards, freaking ramen, at the snap of the finger. Like, it's just, I can't imagine what like first class looks like on like Air Japan.
That's what everyone dreams about, flying to Japan.
Yeah, and then probably just staying there.
We just got to cut it off there. Let's kick it over to some additional wild talk with Spoke Z. This interview is brought to you by our friends at Waggle Golf. Waggle Golf believes what you wear on the course should reflect your individuality, who you are, where you're from, your hobbies, interests, and passions. All the stuff that makes you, well, you. That's why every design is inspired by the desire to create a piece of apparel that strikes a chord when you see it, that makes you say, wow, that was made for me. Because in a lot of ways, it was. Ready to get your waggle on? Go to getyourwaggleon.com, throw in promo code SP10 at checkout to take 10% off your entire order. I don't know. Did you have a chance to hear any of the comments Russo's been making the last couple of days?
I saw the comments. I haven't been able to bring myself to listen to it. I just know I'm going to because I think it was literally 2, maybe 3 weeks ago on here that I was like, I won't really be that fucking worried about the Kaprizov thing until this day. And I'm like, great. Now we fast forward that by a month and a half. I was like, fuck. So I haven't brought myself to listen to it yet. So give me the, cause like from the headlines, everything, it's like, they're confident it's going to get done, but it's not close. And I was like, well, that's not great. That's like the worst possible thing you could have said, I guess. Like, if it's not close, combined with he has a blank check waiting, that sucks. So you tell me, is that literally just like the gist of it?
I mean, the gist of it really, it echoes what Russo's been saying all along, which is, namely, nothing's getting done while Kaprizov's in Russia. Now, initially, he was more reporting that as, hey, this is a big deal, right? Like, this parallels the, Parisi Suter stuff, in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to make a show of it. A spectacle. Have a big press conference. Like, get all of the PR you possibly can around it. I think what's changed, and kind of, I mean, I very much believe it just based on how things went down getting Kaprizov to the States, It sounds like it's more an issue of the agent being a bit of a problem. Not that he's trying to like break the deal or like get Kaprizov not to sign here. It's more just is everything being relayed to Kirill Kaprizov effectively? And that's not a matter of like, oh, loss of translation. It's more like, no, what's the agent like? What's his agenda? What's he telling Kirill? And is it because he wants to like dig his feet in and get more money or something? I don't know. But so the real sentiment from Russo is like, yeah, he needs to get back here. They need to sit down, make sure that there's no miscommunications, and then figure out the bigger piece is what is the desired term from Kaprizov's camp, because Bill Guerin's made it very clear he wants to sign an 8-year deal. Period. End of sentence. But if you're Kaprizov, why don't you sign a 3 or 4 year deal instead? Make the team prove it and see those revenues soar, go in and just continue to ball out. And you're going to get one more big payday, probably even bigger. And the downside is obviously if you get hurt, tough shit, right? And he's had injuries in the past, so maybe that is a real concern, especially when you can get an 8x15 in the bank tomorrow. That like hard to pass that up unless you truly don't believe in the path, or you just like feel like you need to have motivators in place to keep Bill Guerin on track. Yeah, Integrity chimes in, says, I'd be good with a 4-year deal. I think a 4 or 5 year deal makes a lot of sense for both sides. And to be honest, I don't care as long as it's not like a 1 or 2 year deal to really test it. And again, if he's not signed by, I guess we'll say game 1, that's when I am very willing to let people panic.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, so I think that's also like where I land on as far as just like, because I didn't listen to it, didn't read it, because I was like, I'm not going to fucking make myself do this right now. Like, especially because once again, anything that comes out of my mouth, just assume it's either not true, it's wrong, or I'm going to change my, just no, I will probably end up looking like an idiot and change my mind in like a week. And that's exactly what happened. I was like, I'm not panicking. But like the headline of being not close is just like, how is that even humanly possible when they're like, yo, we'll give you everything you want, 8-year deal, which is just like, and if you're the player, obviously, if you just see like how much the cap is projected to go up year after year over the next like decade or so or whatever, like who knows what it's even going to look like in 5 years. Why wouldn't you opt for a 4-year deal? I'm going to tell you, if it ended up being like a 4-year deal, I don't give a fuck. Sure. Like whatever. I don't care. Yeah. Obviously,
I think half the fan base would respect it and love that he's like holding their feet to the fire and saying, build a winner.
Right. Well, I mean, you'll have some people that'll say that. Other people will be like, he just wants to get paid again, which I'm like, or maybe both. Maybe both. I don't know. Why? I love how it has to be one reason. It's like not. It's because he's a selfish piece of shit. That's why, actually, nothing else. I'd be completely fine with it. Again, like you said, if it was like a fucking 1 year, 18 million, I'd be like, fuck off. All right, that's insane. But like a 4-year deal, like, sure, I don't just get it done. So like all this to say, like the headlines, especially when it's quote not close, that always sucks to read, but it's easy to like immediately go into panic, especially when you consider the history with the player and just the history of this franchise in general. Like obviously the panic is like, yeah, like it's understandable.
I also think that's light clickbait,
right? Yeah, of course.
Like it's factual, but it's also like, yeah, do we kind of know that in a sense, maybe a little bit. Yeah,
I mean, and then like from like Guerin's standpoint too, it's also understandable. Like, you know what, we're not gonna do this until we can actually sit down in person again. Like I told, like that makes a ton of sense as well, especially just given the fucking history with the agent too. So, like you said, the combination of the clickbait, the fact that like we're now 3 weeks out from when he could have signed. It is the Minnesota Wild. It is Kirill Kaprizov. Like it's like the fucking. We are just stirring the pot for like maximum panic. Totally get it. It's annoying. I wish the deal was done. again, I'm
also
still
just like what we're accustomed to. Like, what reason do we have not to panic based on
this,
history?
this is basically like equilibrium. Like we're like, yeah, this. I mean, we're never feeling good ever.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, whatever. Like, this just is what it is.
Mateo, throw that back up. So Cole says, I just hope that this contract discussion doesn't make the fan base turn on Kirill like Toronto did with Marner. Until that last contract, he was the golden child. Now look how that ended. I don't see this even remotely happening. Now, if he does not sign going into the season and holds the team ransom all year, yeah, fan base will probably turn and hate Kaprizov. Short of that, no matter what dollar value they give him, no matter how this plays out, as long as he stays with the Wild, fan base doesn't give a shit. Marner, there was a lot of other factors. Like, first off, there's the added pressure of being a Toronto boy, but he's a guy that torched in the regular season and disappeared in the postseason. And that was a big crux of why the fan base was not happy with him. Then the negotiations and how they played out and him getting paid, I'm sorry, like, more than he probably should have. Now, Kyle Dubas, in his defense, because I'll probably give him a lot of shit this summer, depending on how things pan out. Like, he signed those contracts with the big guys in Toronto thinking the cap was going to go up. Screw you, Kyle Dubas, for not knowing there was going to be a pandemic. Like that really made those contracts all look so much worse. But still, I don't think the Marner contract should have been as high as it was. I mean, good for you, I guess, making the players feel good, but I just don't see that playing out. I think that Kaprizov is a rung above a Mitch Marner, and I think him being the face of this franchise pretty much since its inception, like the only true elite player, if he ends up back here, it doesn't matter what the dollar value, fans aren't going to give a shit. Move on.
Yeah, I mean, I think hockey is one of those sports, or like actually just like the NHL, really, just like as far as like the big sports go and big leagues, like you're always going to have that like section of every single fan base that any player that wants to max out their fucking like earnings, like, oh, selfish, it's about the team. It's like, okay, bro, like whatever, dude. Like, that's just not how this works. But like, yeah, no, the Marner thing is like unique to Toronto as well, where like the frustration from that fan base, like Mitch Marner is the epitome of what pisses them off, where it's like regular season, phenomenal, playoff, game sevens, shit. And it's like,
and blames the rest of the team.
Yeah. And it's like Toronto kid, all the pressure. He got the big deal right away after that ELC, like, and just the fact that like he comes up with Nylander, with Matthews, it's supposed to be the golden era. Now you've got like realistically, Nylander was the one guy out the gate, and I mean Matthews has earned his money, but like it was funny. Like it was like 7 months where that first Nylander contract looked like shit, and since like the last 4 or 5 years that deal was like one of the best contracts in hockey, obviously, but like. It was just a tough timing. They pretty much all got what they wanted. And then for the fact that they would just peter out in the playoffs. So it's just like a very different situation that is also just like unique to Toronto. But again, with Kaprizov, if he like goes in the season, the one thing that I could see fans really, not like maybe not a majority of the fans, but like people really getting loud, maybe not necessarily turning on him, but like getting really frustrated if the agents out there like talking all this shit, like if they're loud about it, then I could see the fan base be like, bro, what the fuck are we doing?
Well, and the worst part is like Kaprizov isn't going to be loud about it because he's not loud about anything too, right? Like there's a lot of other players where like more questions would be asked and they'd have to navigate the question a little bit better. Kaprizov, going back to Evgeny Malkin on the top of the show, like what don't understand. Yeah. Even though he speaks perfect English.
I love that about
like he can skirt the question easily, and then it's all just smoke from what we're hearing in the background from Billy, from Russo, from the agent. So that almost is like a weird thing where people are going to get really mad, but then you like have the other corner of the internet that's like defending him. Like Kaprizov's not saying anything. He's just out there playing hard. He's doing this thing. Like, no, there's definitely an answer somewhere in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, no, the internet doesn't specialize in the middle.
The middle doesn't exist.
The middle there's no middle. Dude.
Middle out.
It's only fringe. It's all we got, dude. But yeah. So again, like I think where everyone lands for the most part on this Kaprizov thing is like there's justified anxiety that July 21st, and it still hasn't been signed yet. When they'll talk about he's got the blank check waiting, blah 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 blah. But I still would end up being shocked if we make it like a week or two in the season. It's not done. Like it should be. Knock on wood. The second that they are sitting down in person again, or at least like in the same country talking, like I feel like it shouldn't be something that's going to take forever. And if like the one thing I would get frustrated with the Wild about is if they are a hard no on like a 4 or a 5 year deal or whatever. Like again,
can't be a hard no on anything. That's the problem. Like,
right? Yeah, they've already put it.
If he demands a 1 or 2 year deal, like they can be hard no on that. But like if he wants a 4, like you're really gonna let him walk off of that. There's no chance. They will try and negotiate their way out of it, but like, yeah, they're gonna do it if they have to.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
I would. I mean, you actually have to. Like it's like. It is very funny that fucking Leopold was like, yeah, he's got a fucking blank check like 8 months ago. We're like, no, don't fucking say that.
We all know it. Don't say it out loud.
Yeah,
just like you're not supposed to say out loud that Bettman's retiring because now he's going to stay for another decade. And look what he's doing. We've got a decentralized draft moving forward.
I'm going to choke someone out over that, by the way. Was that not exactly what we said was going to happen too? Like, of course they're going to do it again. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not even going to go there.
I feel like this is a stubborn like game of chicken though. Like Bettman basically said like this is dumb for us to do, but I'm going to appease the owners. Let's see what we can do to make it as insufferable as possible to make them change their minds. Owners, front offices saw right through that and they're like, you know what? We don't care how bad it sucked. We're just going to say how great it was and that we want to keep doing it. Suck it, Gary.
Yeah.
Like, God damn it. Like who loses? Fans and players being drafted. Super cool.
Sick. But before we completely move on from this part, just because I just saw another comment from Cole up there. One of my favorite clips is Marner screaming, "Wake the fuck up" to the team while being a -3 in Game 7. That is the fact that that's going to be one of the lasting images of Marner's time in Toronto is legitimately incredible. It would have been one thing if he was like the one guy on the team that's like making plays every time he steps over the boards, but no one else has anything. He had sucked the whole since like after like the first 2 games, he sucked. In that game 7, he was egregiously bad. Now, and then the slow-mo of his face spitting. It's spitting. Like he's literally spitting. He's like, "Wake the fuck up!" And everyone's like, "You wake the fuck up, dude."
I get it. Zach Phillips, cover your ears, please. I do feel like that got like misinterpreted. Like it's absolutely how you should read it. And like, if I was a Toronto fan, I would feel the same way. I do feel like that was him just trying to like tell everyone like, we suck. Let's figure it out. Like, what are we doing here? And just like taking his frustration and trying to get some kind of rise out of the team, you know? Mm-hmm. So I don't think he has that. Maybe he does lack self-awareness that much that he's like, awesome. I'm doing my part. You guys got to join, you know, like
get on my fucking level.
Just get on taken totally out of context from what he intended. Problem is, it's his fault for the delivery and how he did it. So
yeah. No,
play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
It's just very funny in my head. Like, get on my fucking level. Everyone's playing like me. I was like, oh, really? Blind pass up the middle, down 2-0.
He's gonna have that one in his bag too, pretty much, unless he wins the Stanley Cup with Vegas. And I don't know if I see that in the cards, but maybe we'll see.
I despise the Vegas Golden Knights with a deep passion that burns, but I kind of also need Martin to win 2 or 3 cups during the lifetime of that contract, and like maybe give him like a Conn Smythe, gets a Selke, gets a Hart Trophy potentially one of these years. Like I need him to just pop all the way off.
Yeah,
for my own sanity, It'll still upset me a little bit, but it would be very funny.
It would be very
like, I mean, if he did it year one, like he pops off for 130 points this year, wins like a fucking Selkie, finish second Hart Trophy, gets a Conn Smythe, and wins a cup. Like that would be so fucking funny. Like I would
guess what his early over under is for points. It is so perfect.
I feel like since you said it, I should be able to just know it off.
When I say it, you'll kick yourself probably, but maybe it's not as obvious as it is in my head.
What is it?
99.5.
It is 99.5.
Yeah.
He's good. I mean, him and Eichel.
It's just too good. It's perfect.
Yeah. That's phenomenal.
All right. Well, next wild topic that we have to address. Z, I don't know if you heard about this, but Sidney Crosby and Marc-Andre Fleury were actually spotted at a Coldplay concert. How insane was that, by the way? Like, not just like what happened and how they reacted, but the CEO coming out and being like, you know what, I really got to do some inward reflection. I got to be better. I can't believe I let this happen. But also, this is a bit of an invasion of my privacy. I'm not really okay with how Coldplay handled this, and I might have to sue them. Like, what?
You'll be shocked. You'll be shocked to know or learn that happened. And I was seeing Coldplay CEO crazy. What the fuck was that? Funny fucking moment. Without doing any investing, I was like, well, I don't know what the fuck everyone's talking about Coldplay. 2 days. There were 2 days without even bothering. I wasn't even curious. I was like, what the fuck is everyone talking? I don't care. I was like,
please get this out.
And then I saw it. I saw it 2 or 3 days too late. What a clip. And what a piece of shit. What a reaction. And also, what's the dude's name, the lead singer? Like, just be like, oh, Jesus Christ. The fact that he was still going, he's like, oh, maybe not. Oh, fuck. Like, that made it significantly better. The fact that he was literally talking. Just perfect stuff. Very funny. And I mean, impressive turnaround time for every single, like, baseball team to have a Coldplay cam within 24 hours of that.
The Phillies was the best.
Oh my God. It was, I mean, the A+ stuff. I mean, now I've just seen it in like literally there's tens of thousands of like memes, GIFs, reactions, but like the entire MLB was like content within 24 hours. I was like, and everyone knew it. Like everyone was on it. It's impressive. But my God, what a diabolical way to go out, dude.
Yeah. Brutal.
Gotta sue Coldplay.
Real invasion of my privacy. What are you doing, dude? Okay.
What are you talking about?
But so the point of this, I want to be clear. I, in no world, actually see Sidney Crosby ever playing for the Minnesota Wild. But Minnesota is legitimately the most logical landing spot, right next to Montreal for me. There's obviously the ties that everyone wants to make to Fleury and Guerin. That certainly helps. Sidney Crosby is a noted Minnesota native, being that he was here for like a year when he was 10 years old, being the best player at Shattuck. But I also think it's a weird match because like he wants to win. Can you imagine what it would do for your legacy if you were the piece that came in and brought Minnesota its first Stanley Cup? That's legacy shit. And for the Wild, it's like you've literally been begging for this player forever. The true 1C who can solve all of your problems. If, let's just say the Minnesota Wild gets Sidney Crosby. Are they not a top like 5 or 6 contender in the NHL at that point?
I mean, they're right there.
Yeah. So the other piece of that, and the reason that Colorado makes zero sense to me, there's a couple other teams that have been brought up that, again, just don't make any sense to me besides Montreal because it's kind of going home and they have the same thing as the Wild, but you have things that the Penguins need. You actually have a prospect pool. You actually have assets to send back. Colorado has nothing. They gave everything up for Brock Nelson. And my real question stemming from this, in a total hypothetical world where Crosby says, you know what, fine, I'd be willing to go to Minnesota. This is where we loop back to our good friends, Minnesota Wild Prospects. Everyone, be sure to give them a follow, Facebook, Twitter, MNW Prospects, MNW Young Guns. Who's off limits if Sidney Crosby is on the table? And let's just say reasonably we get 3 or 4 years of Sidney Crosby in Minnesota. Who is off limits, if anyone?
Maybe
I feel like there's one name.
Zeev.
That's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there anyone else that you are unwilling to trade? Because I feel like there are fans who will have a different opinion than us.
Those are my favorite takes. Where it's like, we could get Sidney Crosby. I'm not giving up Ryder Ritchie. Fuck you. You'll take Stevie Lescovar at a 3rd round pick and you'll like it.
Carson Lambos and David Spacek.
It's
and a 3rd.
Literally, it's the only name on that list is probably Booyah.
And so this is the one that I figured most people would mention. So our boy Mateo brings it up. Yurov. I'm telling you, if it's in a package for Sidney Crosby, I'm not even thinking twice. Now, I don't know if that's a guy that the Penguins target because, like, this is the last year of Malkin, and after that, there's really no Russian ties over there. So that might be a little bit tougher, especially given his, what we know about Danil Yurov. But I literally will. I'm not even saying that I would give up Booyah, but I'm not saying 0% willing to give up Booyah either. If you get Crosby in and you don't give up meaningful pieces off your roster, because really for me, it's Booyah for prospects and then like pretty much Faber and Kaprizov, right? Would you do it if Boldy had to be part of the deal? Do you consider that?
I mean, you have to. Maybe I get it depends how much you've already like.
No, totally. Like obviously it's the total compensation, but like odds are you're getting rid of some kind of meh contract. I mean, what if you get to send oh man, what if we can get rid of everyone's favorite 4th liner that makes $4 million as part of it?
Yeah, Trenyan, Lescovar, and a 4th.
Okay, well now we're
and they're retaining half of Crosby's 8.7.
But like I don't know, man. I certainly wouldn't package Boldy and Booyah, but if it was one of them going back as part of a package, and there's somehow a world where you can move Trenyan out too, like I'm very eagerly listening. Doesn't mean I'm saying yes, but I'm very, very attentive. And anyone that's not Kaprizov, Faber, and Booyah, like I just say yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's literally no, at no point am I saying absolutely not. I won't even have a conversation, regardless of what player you pick off the fucking Wild, maybe other than like Kaprizov. But like, if you bring up any other player,
like Faber is
Faber, yeah. Like, yeah, I mean, if that, and again, we're both on the same page. It's never gonna happen. But like,
do you agree with me though that like the fit is there? Like, it makes sense across the board if Crosby was open to it.
Oh yeah, I mean, if he's open to it, yeah, that's obviously like the jump start that
for me, it's more. Let's say Montreal just can't pony up a package. Colorado obviously can't pony up a package. And Crosby's like, I want to go, but he cares enough about that organization that he's not going to ask them, like, give me up for scraps.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like Minnesota is in that like next tier where he's not open to it today, maybe. but could he become open to it if he just gets sick of losing? Yeah, maybe, right? Plus, I mean, playing with Kaprizov, I think that would be pretty fun. And just hanging out with Flurry all the time. Although, as new head of HR, Flurry may drive a lot of people out of the organization with all the pranks.
All the pranks, yeah.
Unkosher, but
yeah. I mean, I'd probably even. So I was pretty quick on the trigger there to say yes. If they were like, would you consider like Boldy a part of it? Like Boldy probably also pretty close to not necessarily
real close to it, but he's not quite there.
Right.
Depending on what else is going with him.
At the end, like I think it was Bill's comment? Yeah. Like the second part of that is true. It's like, well, you can't give up literally every single good player. Because it's like, all right, well, he's just traded spots with the Penguins. It's like, man, he's got no one else to play with now. Other than like Kirill. But it's like those two versus the world, I guess. But yeah, I mean, as far as like the piece that the Wild to like get them over the hump or like legitimately make them an elite team, yeah, like obviously that's fit there. I would be shocked if there's a whole lot of players in the league though that would like agree with like our analysis on the Wild though. Like they suck to play against. Everyone knows that, they always have. I just like, maybe it's just me watching this team forever and like being familiar with the team. I would be surprised if like Minnesota is a team that other players who were like looking to go win or believe it, like I got a couple years left, I want to go to a contender or whatever. I would be surprised if they put Minnesota on their own list, but I don't know. It
takes some selling for sure, but I also think part of that is how do they start the year, right? And there's a lot that goes into that. And for this week's Fellowship of the Rink, it is going to be a little bit of a deep dive on the schedule and just like the ups and downs and things to key in on. But I think the big negative, less than the Wild, because I think you can very clearly paint the picture of like, look at what we did when we were totally healthy. Look at how close we were this year. Like this is the first year where I think we all agree that was a capable team of winning in the first round, where we've never really thought that in the past, right? I think you pair that with just another year for some of these young guys. The core that we have, we've got the blue line, the goaltending stands up. You shift every center down in our lineup when Crosby gets added, it's a completely different team. I think the real argument against coming here, to your point, less than it is that the Wild are a concern, the West is a son of a bitch.
Yeah.
That is grueling to come out of come postseason, whereas the East looks pretty nice.
Right. And I mean, the thing is, like, because like in the same, but like any fan of another team would say the same exact thing too. So it's like the West is a son of a bitch, but like it's impossible to predict half the time he's going to come out of. You know, I guess we have had the fucking same team twice, but yeah, I don't know. I am in the boat of like, yeah, whatever. If it was remotely possible, there are very few things I'm saying no to. There's nothing outside of like Buium, Faber, Kaprizov that I'm like, this isn't really even a starter.
And Mateo brings up a good point. Like Rossi being the foundation of that trade certainly helps.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it's going to be Rossi plus. But
like,
that hopefully means that it's not necessarily plus Boldy or Buium, right? Like Rossi, Ogren, Height, Juracek, send them all. I will trade the Iowa Wild for Sidney Crosby.
This will become... we're going to do a top 10 Pittsburgh Penguin podcast.
Hang on. Switch. Screw that. I will trade the entire state of Iowa for Sidney Crosby. I would be so bold.
Yeah. Fuck it.
Oh, man. All right, we're back and not going to talk about flying to Japan anymore.
How about Japanese fights? There's a big fight card coming up this weekend.
But appreciate you guys tuning in for another week. Joe will be back next week. Hopefully there's more Wild news to talk about. At this point, I have no idea what to expect.
Kaprizov extension. Yurov going fishing.
You know, maybe we'll just get Ben Hankinson back on, and we'll just spend the whole time talking about Dustin Byfuglien.
Or just like, I have so many questions for him because when he was on radio with Russo a week prior to the free agency, I want to ask some Jim Rutherford questions. Let's just say that I have a lot of Jim Rutherford questions to ask.
Dude, he didn't go on with Russo, did he?
He was on with Russo. Maybe it was like a couple weeks prior.
I thought he backed out the week leading up to it.
It must have been a couple weeks prior.
I can't trust myself to not say things, so I'm gonna back out, Mike. He's like, okay.
Okay, so it must have been a couple weeks prior, but like it was so awesome because this like Russo is just in like just full on Russo mode, right? Just asking very direct questions, even like not for a light radio show, it'd be like, and for casual like listeners on KFan, like he was asking all these like just direct questions, and Ben's like, "Gotta tread lightly on this one because it's not me speaking on behalf of anybody." Anyways, he was just like, he did a very good job of tiptoeing and like being professional, but you could tell that he had a fucking shit-eating grin on his face even through the airwaves. And it was some
great. Of the interviews in general that like we've had on Fellowship are very fun. Like we get to the end, they're like, "Oh, I wanted to say this so bad." I'm like, "Oh, I wish you would have."
Yeah, well, at least the fact you got close means that like we're doing our job.
But yes, tune in next week. I believe we have an interview queued up. There's a couple we're looking at, so I'm not going to say who yet, but tune in. Judd'z Buds back again next week. Probably a lot more World Junior Summer Showcase talk with what little has happened by that point, and then kind of previewing what's coming the rest of the week and some of the players that are definitely worth tuning in for. Isha, are you guys doing a Wildly Informed anytime soon, or is that just kind of whenever Brett?
Yeah, unless there's some news, unless there's some news, there's some stuff worth talking about. The ball's in Brett's court, but I don't see anything coming up in the next few weeks. But then, like sooner than later, we're gonna have our prospect show coming up with the boys.
Yeah, I figure that's probably mid to late August. Yeah,
but I mean, July just went by like that, so that's what I'm saying. It's gonna creep up. Like I literally feel like last weekend we were at the cabin, and now it's end of July.
Dude, June took forever.
Yeah, June was long.
And July
it was raining.
It makes no sense
because it was raining the whole fucking time. That's why. Now, because like I don't. For me, anyways, like I was like doing a lot in July. So it kind of went by quick, whereas like my days were very long in June, I feel like, because I was mostly just in front of my computer or my power was going out because of all the rain.
Fair. Well, reminder, everybody, you've all been awesome reaching out, whether it's with like topics you want covered, segment suggestions. If you
this is the Best Mammoth podcast. This is the Best Mammoth podcast.
Just let us know. We're here for you. But otherwise, till next week, appreciate you all tuning in. Stay classy, state of hockey.